All right, as all our viewers know by now, ET Now is the official business TV partner for the movie that's coming up very soon, which is Bazaar. The lead of the movie, the main lead of the movie, and the big star that, of course, will be influencing the direction the movie takes is Saif Ali Khan, and he's right here with me. Saif, the trailer was very interesting. And we've had a movie on the stock markets come in after a very long time.
Right.
What drew you to the roles, firstly?
Well, I think it was everything. It was everything when the producer Nikhil Advani and I worked together in Kalona, which is also something to do with the stock exchange, actually, coincidentally, years ago. So he said it's a Gujarati businessman and it's a stock market thriller. So I mean, I was intrigued and I read it, and it really worked for me on very many levels. You don't need to know about the stock market for the film to work, which was the main reason I did it, because I found a lot of Hollywood films also about the stock market, like The Big Short and
Did you watch The Big Short?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Sometimes a little hard to follow for the uninitiated in that, so I wanted a simpler screenplay in some ways, but at the same time to be factually correct and to have all its bits and pieces in place. And the producers made sure of that, and they got a lot of technical advice, and they made sure that I've not actually seen a Hindi film like this before, which is the main reason why I was excited to do it. The character excited me, the kind of treatment, the way he speaks, and the kind of person he is, which is obviously what we look for as an actor. And the world was fascinating with all these things happening in the stock market. It's not a particularly simplistic view of it, and there's different ways of looking at it. So my character looks at things in a slightly different, maybe darker way, so perhaps a little more of a raider in that sense.
Right.
And whereas there's many other balanced points of views that are put across.
The thing about movies on stock markets, and this is not just in India but world over, and you cited the example of The Big Short, is that they always highlight the markets in a sort of a negative light, essentially giving it the profile of a gambling circus. Do you think this film has taken a more balanced approach? Because at the end of the day, as a business news channel, I can vouch for the fact, covering stock markets for the last 12 years, that the markets have made a lot of good wealth, productive wealth for a lot of the investors out there. So is the messaging more balanced?
Absolutely, it's more balanced, and we're not even saying that it's, the stock market is like a gambling thing or something like this. We're just saying that there's certain ethical practices and there's certain unethical practices. So as any good kind of tale, it boils down to whether the protagonist or the guys, whether they cross the line into being bad. Now, however you define bad in whatever movie, it could be somebody cheating at cricket, or it could be somebody doing something wrong in any environment. So it's more of a metaphor, the stock market, really, and hopefully an interesting metaphor and something different. And it's also, we're wondering why there hasn't been a good movie on the stock market that's easy to follow, because Bombay and Dalal Street, I mean, it's got its own crazy financial system and a very strong and old tradition of this. So we've tried to respect that and give a balanced view, of course.
Is this movie about financial fraud? I mean, at the core of it, I know the stock market angle is a strong one, but one of the journalists, reporters earlier asked you about how some of the big financial scams are always trailed back to the stock markets or the financial system that you alluded to. Do you think that this movie would also just be one of those things where you'll reiterate the fact that this is perhaps a very murky system to work around?
We're not saying it's a murky system at all. In fact, there's a lot of voices that say it. I mean, it's a brilliantly balanced kind of view in that sense. But to make a story exciting, we would have to concentrate on some murky elements, and we'd have to make it a situation where there would be, I mean, if you think of finance and if you want to tell a story to me or to the layman, you'd have to get some big time fraud involved or some breaking of laws and all insider trading, and all these kind of things are what makes this world watchable.
I do realize you're quite tuned into the lingo, insider trading, financial frauds. Are you invested in the markets?
Well, I have what I think is my chartered accountant calls a balanced portfolio. So a certain amount, yes, but I don't like to take much risk at all.
Okay, so a balanced portfolio would mean investing in mutual funds. A balanced portfolio would mean direct investments in the markets, in the stocks.
Well, I mean, it's kind of something that's spread out between equity and debt. And without taking much risk. That's all I can really
And
say.
so, given where the markets are right now, Saif, I'm going to be pushing you on this one.
But I'm not an expert.
But you would have it because you're so. I'm quite impressed with how connected you are to your investment.
I'm an actor. I can sometimes pretend that I know what I sound like.
So,
I know
would you
what I'm
prefer
talking
debt
about.
or equity right now?
As a gambler, I'd say debt.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
I don't even know what I'm talking about. I honestly don't.
Debt is a safer one, Saif. Debt is a safer one. But just to conclude, since we are on this subject, I think movies are a great way to send out a strong message to people at large. And like I said, we do that very often as a business news channel. We indulge a lot in investor education. Do you think that this movie will also help more and more people understand the significance of a stock market in an economy, and how, while there are scams and frauds on the one hand, it's also very productive to be a part of this financial system. If you're looking at the economy growing, then you can grow your wealth with it through the stock market.
Presumably, one would hope that if this has been chosen as a metaphor in the movie, then it's appealing enough or attention grabbing enough for people to connect to. That would be the hope. That if it's the backbone of the movie, it's not really about, like I said, the stock market. The background is, I mean, someone or the other is always trading or
Business
talking
finance.
about stock, and it's set in offices, and it's got all these. The whole world is that. So yeah, definitely, I think it should. I hope it does.
All right. On that note, thanks very much for talking to us. Once again, the movie is out on 26th October.
Yes, 26th of October.
And ET Now is the official business TV partner for the movie. Thanks very much for watching.